Joe and Joey. But Joe Schmo called me.
It's a great name.
It is,
It
it's
really
easy to say. But he called me and he's worried about the bushes that block the view on Stringer's Bridge. Okay, you can call Todd anytime and Todd will go out there and take a look at it.
Right.
You can say, you know, I've heard that somebody's dog is running loose, you can call the chief and then he'll let the guys know, well,
Sure.
keep an eye out for this dog. Feel free to reach out to the staff when you get stuff like that.
Yeah, you would not have to wait for the next month's board meeting to
And
bring
you
something like that up
And
to
you
someone.
certainly don't have to go out and look at the bushes on Stringer's Bridge Road yourself,
Right.
you know, you just call Todd and.
And that's I mean, again, you're the representative of
Sure.
Situate, so that part's perfectly legal. I mean, they can call you all the time, I mean,
Yeah.
I've never stopped sometimes, okay? However, going to other government agencies, that's a whole different story. Going to the village of East Troy, or Quantico, or Wallace County, careful with that, okay? Because you cannot speak on behalf of the board, okay? I can act on behalf of the board, and I'm really cautious with that. If I'm gonna have something that I'm gonna go and talk something specific, you know, gonna affect our whole town, I'm gonna ask the meeting, say, authorize me to go there and speak about this, okay?
Sure.
I'll do that all the time.
And because towns are limited as to what they can do, another reason why you might not want to go to a neighboring community and say, hey, have you guys dealt with this before? And then they give you advice as to, well, here's what we did. We might not even be able to do that because it's not in statute that we can do things that way.
Legally though, you can talk to like a
Doesn't
village.
hurt.
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
Certainly.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
Right.
But
You
not
don't
take it,
represent.
can't ask them to take any action or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
But
When
if-
we were developing the website and stuff like that, we certainly
Right.
reached out to
Some
other
stuff.
communities, we looked
Yep.
up other things
It's
online.
part of research, yeah.
When a public records request is received, the law requires that it be responded to as soon as reasonably practical and without delay. And the Attorney General's opinion said that should be around 10 days, depending on the request. If it's a lengthy request, it's gonna be more than 10 days. You simply reach out and say, I need more time, this is pretty vague, can you narrow it down some? Well, Joe, you've been chairperson for so long, if you got a records request asking for every email you've received since you were chairman, I mean, a denial of that request would go out. One, it's too vague, it's too large in
It's
scope.
12,000.
Yeah.
Right, they haven't identified a subject matter to look for. So yes, if you have any questions, I encourage you, especially the new board members, let me take a look at it. Because they might be asking for stuff that they're not even allowed to have.
Right. And
Now,
again,
would they come to us and not let anyone else know?
They could,
They could.
yeah.
They don't have to come through.
Oh,
the
really?
office.
Yeah.
They can send you an email directly. Open records are just that, okay? And
It's public records
And you
and
guys are the
open meetings.
keeper of
they don't
your
have to
records.
say why they need it, why they want it, you know, and technically, there was even one, situation we seen, they didn't identify themselves, it's like,
Well,
cause it's a
that-
fake name.
That's gonna be my next question. How do you know it's coming from a legit source?
You
who
don't
would be
have
sending
the
it?
right to determine whether you think they're a legit source or not.
Okay. Then you'll be getting a phone call if I ever get that. Because I'm not doing, I
Right.
don't know how to.
Yeah, and again, sometimes, again, there doesn't have to be a reason given, why you want it. Can ask them that question.
I mean, sometimes it's pretty obvious, it's pure harassment. But the law requires that you respond to public records requests.
Then why you trying to do it?
Yep.
It's law.
You know, the good thing is there is no legal ramification for you as board members if someone makes an oral request, because those are not actionable. they have to be in writing.
And Gene always tries to get people to put them in writing. So we have a form here at the town hall.
Right.
Once we get here.
So if someone is complaining, I asked the two new board members 3 months ago that I wanted to see A, B, and C. Well, if they didn't put it in writing, it doesn't have to be notified as a public records request even. Sometimes people will send them in as a Freedom of Information Act request. That has to be treated the same, but it has to, there's case law that says if you receive one, it has to be treated as a public records request, even though they misidentified.
The biggest thing for, in my position, is I don't have to create a record.
Correct.
I don't have to answer questions. If there's a document that says, okay, in 2023, we spent this much money on police equipment, that I can provide, but I don't have to go through and figure out, you know.
How that money was spent.
or-
And unless
or like
they
if-
ask for specific invoices,
Right, and that, I mean, that stuff I would have. But
right,
if somebody wants me to figure out the percentage of increase that the police department spent on equipment from 2020, 2021, I mean, through, I don't have to do that. I
Right.
can provide you with the information I have, I don't have to create.
you should not create a record to
No.
satisfy a request. You simply respond, no records exist to satisfy your request.
Yep.
And if you want to, you know, try to answer the questions and then have me look at it before you submit it, certainly you should be doing that.
That's all I had.
That's all I have.
You guys have any questions?
A question? All one big.
And always
happy
feel
family?
free to call.
Yeah, and like I said, so you guys have any questions, you call.
And Joe, when you had questions regarding that motion, and Kim was trying to get bills approved, and she's like, don't call him, he costs money.
Oh.
Call me,
Was that on
because,
the video?
Yeah.
No, that was after.
that was after.
I will say that at budget time too.
Right. Because we don't wanna get the town in hot water because someone didn't know how
Right.
to do something and you were afraid to call the town attorney
I didn't understand. the
because Kim
context.
said no.
Yeah, I didn't understand the context. The motion was already passed. It was just the draft that you had, and it was past the draft. I understand.
So,
You can't amend it at that point. It happened.
No, he's talking about after, when you were signing checks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm available, if you email or call and I'm out at court or doing something else. It's usually not more than a day, I'll get back to you.
And I just wanna say from the staff's point of view, we have probably the best group of people we've ever had right now. I mean, on the PD, everybody is just, it's so much morale, is
Booming.
way better than it used to be.
I spoke at the LDPIA spring meeting at Alpine Valley a week or two ago, and I mentioned that. And a couple people came up after and said, yeah, that's a hell of a group you got there. And I said, which one? He said, all of them. Like the fleet, they like the office staff here, and the DPW. And a lot of compliments come in about the roads, especially the snow plowing. We have the best clean roads.
Yeah, Todd, those guys are good.
Yeah. You go driving some other municipalities after a snowstorm, you go, oh.
You know exactly where the
Yeah, you
jurisdictional
know where the
line
line
is.
is.
Yeah. There's a lady that I know that used to be on the town of Troy board, was a school bus driver, and works at our boat launch. And she says, your guys' roads are the best. All winter long, she goes, and like I said, she was on the town of Troy board, bus driver, so she's all over. She said, you guys have the best roads. Yes, we do.
Yeah, and I do think public confidence in our, police department is leap years ahead of what it was,
Absolutely.
Things are
so.
good.
I've heard the same about
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you guys have been in a lot of contact, like, so that's kinda what you heard, they like, police.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
Chief,
yeah.
Yeah,
Way better than
very much approved the
prior.
prior one, yeah.
Oh, you want that things?
But you'll
Yeah,
notice-
the table.
There'll be ebbs and
Yeah, I have the
flows.
paper copy.
Right now, we're kinda getting back to a good
And then,
area,
Joe, you
but
wanted to
trust
do
me,
that? Joe,
give it
you
time,
wanted to do
and
that?
there'll be lots of
I
complaints.
had training, I'm good.
But you got, if you took the training, you gotta give me your test and your certification.
Through that training?
Any training
This
for
is
board review. Yeah,
Okay,
there's a test you have to take, and then there's the certification that you took the training.
I'll just take it with me.
Oh, she's
I'll
gonna do it now.
Okay.
Yeah, coordinate.
Now, don't forget to notarize mine and get that in.
Good.
I don't wanna
I
go
will
back
file it with the DOR
I don't want
tomorrow.
that 2.5 hours of my life to go waste.
I will file it with the DOR tomorrow.
Put in your personal records, you gave it to Kim to notarize and submit on this date at this time.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Alright,
Alright,
thank you all. Well worth the time.
Mrs. Reyes,
The Parks Committee.
yes.
Oh, I wanted to talk a little bit about, what?
Can we talk
We
about
can't
that?
really, cause it wasn't noticed, and there's a quorum here.
Yeah.
Or Troy.
Can I ask you
Yeah.
a legal question
$5,000
about land
to
usage?
approve your-
Okay,
Down by
I
Army
was,
Lake.
I thought about
Yes.
it and then.
Okay,
Well,
what
I
they did.
believe there is
Jerry got
some
in there and
town
said-
land, but also some state
Yeah.
DNR.
Right, so what they did is.
Okay, but the town land, we can do whatever we want.
They reduced it by that.
didn't we have discussion
Yeah.
10 years ago about maybe doing a park down there?
There are 67 acres of land that we do not have the money to manage.
I'm still pounding the water, already I'm gonna be drinking.
That's because you dehydrated from today's
Well,
work.
I did drink like 4 bottles, but I was.
Well, I hear it's been
I
cleaned
drink
up.
3
My
gallons
son's
of
been
water
down there.
a day.
He
3?
can take me down.
Gallons.
Which way?
By Army Lake.
280.
By the lake,
I'm
and
down
there
to,
is a
uh,
boat, but there's the
164.
DNR by
Better start
the,
eating and drinking.
No, not even.
some acres next to it.
There was a gentleman who passed